It's fat to fit. It's fat to fit. Rob Barringer is going fat to fit. He's really, 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 really fat, but soon he'll be fit because it's fat to fit.
Hello, and welcome back to episode 5 of Fat to Fit. I know that it's exam season right now, so I hope that all of your exams are going as well and are as carefree and joyful as mine were. I must make an apology for not putting the Fat to Fit video up for a very long time. It has been my intention to, but because I haven't really been doing well in my weight loss program and my fitness program due to various issues, I haven't really had the motivation or time to make a video. But that's all now changing. I don't have any injuries. I've cut all of the other shit out of my diet again, and I'm now getting back on top of everything, so it should all be good. I've made a quick graph for you to demonstrate my weight loss because I thought that you'd all be super interested in that. I've used a fantastic bit of software called Microsoft Excel. It basically demonstrates my weight loss program over the entirety of all of the months that I've been doing Fat to Fit. I've got a load of different parts where I don't do so well when I kind of gain weight and then I lose weight. And I'm going to correlate them to the different things that have happened in my life to show to you how much of an effect that alcohol or food or not doing exercise or being injured can have on your weight loss and your fitness. So let's now go have a look at the graph. Arrivederci. So as I said before, I made a graph demonstrating my weight loss over time, over the weeks and months that I've been doing this fitness regime. So I'm just going to show you that and point out all of the different parts where I've gained weight or I've lost weight or there's been a fluctuation, and I'm going to correlate that to the different things that have happened in my life to kind of demonstrate the kind of things that can upset a fitness regime. Okay, so here we have my weight loss over time. You can see I have the dates here, which are numerous in number, and I have my weight in pounds. I was going to do it in stone, but it's a lot more easier to visualize your weight loss if you do it in pounds. I've gone online and I've looked up the ideal weight that someone of my height should be, which is 6'1", and the ideal weight should be between 166 pounds to 202 pounds. I started at 323 pounds, which is very, very far away from 202 pounds. In fact, it means that I need to lose 121 pounds in order to be within that weight. As it stands, right down here, I've lost 52.5 pounds, which is almost halfway to my target of 202 pounds. And this is the various fluctuations within my weight loss program. As you can see here, this is when I started my weight loss program. You can see a really sharp decrease to begin with. That normally happens with people who are excessively overweight, because as they start to do exercise, they tend to lose weight a lot faster in the beginning, and then it starts to trail off. I lost weight pretty consistently at a pretty good rate. There was the Christmas period, you eat stuff, and so I was quite happy that I stayed at the same weight. Then it got to January, which was here. I don't have any points plotted here because I didn't take my exact weight, but I pretty much stayed the same throughout January. And I think that was because I was overweight. You start to lose a lot of weight to begin with, and then it starts to like trail out, and it started to like flatten out and level out about here. So at this point, this is when I decided to cut alcohol out of my diet. I had already altered my diet to make myself a lot healthier and a lot fitter, and made sure that I had a more balanced diet, which helped me lose weight here, and that's what the last episode was about. But here I also decided to cut out alcohol, and as you can see, cutting out alcohol really helped me to begin to lose weight, and that's what happened here. This is when I stopped my alcohol fast. I gave up my abstinence to alcohol because I only wanted to do it for a few months initially, and this is where I stopped. When I refused to abstain from alcohol, my weight loss began to level out. So as you can see, it's kind of going up, then going down, then going up, but it stayed flat for about a month and a half. This also correlates with me having a shin splint, prevented me from doing much strenuous exercise. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give up alcohol for another 3 months, and also my shin splint has healed up, so I should be able to run and do exercise properly. That's what this episode is going to be about, lots of exercise stuff. And so we should see, hopefully, that this begins to decrease. If it doesn't begin to decrease, then that suggests that the alcohol didn't really have much to do with the weight loss, and it's some other variable that I haven't taken into account. But I'm pretty sure it's the alcohol and the fact that I haven't been able to do exercise. So that's basically that graph. Let's go on to the next thing. Okay guys, so I'm going to show you where I exercise. I've actually moved my exercise bike down into the garage, so that's where I do most of my exercise. So let's go have a look. As you can see, we have a fridge here for the water. We have a freezer here for the other food stuffs, but that's not really that important. I've got bits and bobs, cleaning stuff. I've got my washing machine. I've got my tumble dryer. Here's the exercise bike that we're going to be using. But obviously you need to make sure that it's in a nice open space. This is the mat that I do my sit-ups and push-ups on to make sure that I don't hurt my back or anything. Sun Deco boots, really good, really cheap. I think they're selling them at Sports Direct for about £15. Absolutely excellent quality, cheap studs. They fit really nicely around your feet. They're designed for football, but they can be used for Quidditch. They're perfectly fine. Then we have the bikes over here for whenever I want to go out cycling. Got the bins here, it's got wrenches, it's got spanners, it's got pliers, it's got tweezers, screwdrivers, this thing that makes a funny noise. I love that noise that it makes. Okay, so let's get some exercise going. This goes up to 16 levels of difficulty. At the moment I put it on level 8. I was on level 4 when I started, but now I'm on level 8. I always do the exact same thing, I just increase the level to increase the amount of work that my legs have to put in. And after the exercise my legs are quite tired and quite burned out, and I've burnt a lot of calories. So I think that this is quite a good way to condition your legs to a good standard to play sport in. So let's start. This goes on for 25 minutes. Level 8 you can see there, and what I basically do is I cycle, I keep my RPM above 90, and I do this continuously for 4 minutes, just keeping it above 90. I like to keep it around about 93 to 95. You don't want it to be too high because you don't want to make your legs burn too much energy, but you don't want it low enough that it's below 90. You want to give yourself a target that you can realistically achieve every single time you exercise. So this is what I'm going to be doing for 4 minutes. I can begin to feel the burn in my thighs as well. Almost as instantly when I go on the exercise bike, my thighs begin to burn. It's okay for about the first minute because I've still got all of my glucose stores and stuff in my legs, but after that the amount of glucose stores dwindles, and then my cells have to actively make energy as I'm exercising, and that's where all of the achiness comes from and all of the tenseness in your legs comes from. So this exercise really works for me because I'm quite a large person, because my thighs aren't conditioned to a sports standard. This really works for me because they're tired constantly. And I tend to find out that I lose a lot of weight on my legs, I lose a lot of fat, I burn a lot of calories doing this, and I've really seen a marked improvement when I've been playing Quidditch as well. I've been able to run a lot faster, I've been able to get up to a sprint, I've been able to stay on pitch a lot longer. I'm not by any standards fit, but I'm less unfit than I was 6 months ago, say. So this really has helped me, and if you are someone who is very overweight and you're trying to lose weight, I'd say that the best thing to do is to condition your legs first of all. You want to make sure that your legs can get to the level where you can run and constantly run, because if you do any exercise, chances are you're going to be using your legs. Swimming, you're going to be using your legs. Running, you're going to be using your legs. For me, I found all of those things really hard because my legs felt like lead. I couldn't run without getting tired. I couldn't bring my legs up properly to get a proper gait on when I sprinted. So for me, and if you're like me and you get those feelings when you try to exercise, I'd really suggest and recommend trying to work on your legs, and I found this works very well for me. I'm almost at 4 minutes now. We're going to hit the 4 minute mark, and then at the 4 minute mark the RPM is going to increase from above 90 to above 110, and that's what I call a sprint. It's probably not a sprint by cycling standards, but it's a condition where I really push my legs and it's hard for me to get through. Okay. I can feel the burning in my legs. It's very difficult. It's hard to get through, but you just have to keep pushing, keep breathing, keep pushing your legs. Tell yourself that you're going to get through it. You have to remember to keep breathing. Very important. And after the minute's done, you go back to above 90. You use this time to breathe deep, get back the oxygen that your body used to make energy. Keep breathing. The achiness in your leg is going to stay there until you recover enough oxygen to take the achiness away. That's basically how it works. So above 90 for 4 minutes and above 110 for 1 minute. That's a set of 5 minutes. When I started exercising on the exercise bike, I myself could only do 15 minutes. Now I'm on 25. By the end of the week I'm going to start doing 30, which would be 6 lots of those 5-minute things, which represents when you're in a match, you're running, at some point you're going to have to sprint, whether it's getting back to defend or running up on an offence. So yeah, this basically helps me to be able to move my body. Oh, fuck, shit. So, that's 1/3 of my exercise. It takes up by far the most amount of time. Normally, I tend to burn about 450 calories doing that, which is quite a lot of calories to burn, considering that your intake is about 2,000 or something like that. So that's a lot of calories to burn. I consider that quite an intensive workout for someone like myself. Obviously, if you're within a healthy weight and you're a fit person, that probably wouldn't tire you out nearly as much as it does me. So as I said, whenever you do exercise, you have to tailor it to your own needs. Someone who's big is not going to be able to do the same exercise as someone who's healthy and lean. So if anybody ever tells you, oh no, you must be doing this and you're doing this wrong, don't listen to them. You have to tailor it to your own needs. So as long as you're pushing your own body, as long as you're overcoming that pain barrier, that's all that matters. That's an improvement. So don't ever let anybody tell you what you can and cannot do. You can do anything you want. Just try to make sure that it actually challenges your body physically, and you should see a benefit from it. Other thing I do, just need to get this out. I do sit-ups first. I do 30 sit-ups normally each time I exercise. If my abdomen is hurting, or I feel like I have pain in my back, I'll probably do less. I wouldn't do 30, I'll do like 20 or 15 or 10 if the pain is that bad. If it's very bad pain, don't do any. Don't ever put yourself through a severe amount of pain. If it's the kind of achy pain, like when you're cycling and an ache turns into a pain, it's not like a stabbing pain, it's like a throbbing pain. I tend to see that as a good thing because it means that your muscles are running out of energy, which is good because it's conditioning them. But if there's like a stabbing pain in your back or anything like that, or if you get a stabbing pain right deep down in your leg that feels like it might be bone or something like that, it might be a splint like I had, or you might have a fractured bone or broken bone even. If it's in your joints, you might have a dislocation or something like that. If it's a stabbing pain, don't do exercise that's going to push that, because that's probably bad. Okay, so I do 30 sit-ups normally. You want to make sure that your feet stay on the ground. You want to make sure that the only thing that's moving is your back bringing you up. So you don't want to be moving your legs or using your momentum rolling on your back and then coming forward, because that means that the movement is coming from your weight relative to gravity and not your back muscles working to pull you up. So ideally you want to weigh your feet down with something, Fiona, the person who's operating the camera, is going to be standing on my feet, which means you should see that the only thing of me that moves is my back pulling me up. You go from a laying position up, you come to your knees, and then you go down. I do about 30 of them, so let's hope I can do it. 1, 2. Okay, that's 30 sit-ups. That's the second part of it done. Now the only thing that's left is press-ups. Press-ups I find to be the most difficult. It's fairly easy to keep your mind focused when you're doing exercise because it's like a dull ache that you can grit your teeth and push yourself through. When it comes to sit-ups, I find that it's also an ache that grows in your abdomen as it goes on. I get to about 20 and then the ache gets fairly intense. Not too intense that I have to stop, but fairly intense. That's why I stop at 30. I increase it. I'll probably increase it to 35 when I feel that I can do 30 and then some without hurting myself. When it comes to push-ups, I find that it's not really a dull ache in my arms because I am so heavy, because my arms don't have that much muscle. Push-ups for me are quite difficult. It's almost instantly a very severe aching in my arms, like they're struggling very much to keep my weight up. So I find these to be the most difficult. When I started my exercise, I wasn't even able to do one. I was that fat, I was that overweight, and my arms were that weak that I wasn't able to do a push-up. So if you're trying to do push-ups and you're very overweight, that might be a problem. Don't feel disheartened if you can't do a push-up, that's fine. Most people who you see out there who are doing push-ups are not the same weight as you. They're less weight, so the arms have to push up less of a weight. So don't instantly think, oh well it's because they're stronger. It is partly because they're stronger, but it's also because they weigh less. So don't be disheartened. If you lose weight, if you're fat like I am, when you start to lose weight, you become better at doing push-ups, and that in turn strengthens you, so it's like an exponential thing. If you're not trying to do push-ups and you want to exercise different parts of your body, I'd advise going on a Facebook group called Fat2Fit UK. There's a lot of UK quid kids who have a lot of really good exercise routines or things to exercise various parts of your muscles. So if you didn't want to focus on your arms or your thighs and you wanted to focus on your lower legs, then you could go on there. I'm sure someone would have something for that. If you wanted to do your obliques or something like that, or your pecs or whatever, then I'm sure there'd be someone there who could give you some advice for that. So check out that if you want some advice on what exercises that you can do if you want to do different ones to me. Okay, so normally when I do push-ups, I'm on a stone floor, my hands get sweaty, so my hands slip. You want to make sure if you're doing push-ups that you're on a surface that's not going to slip, because you don't want your face to smash into the ground. That is one thing you completely do not want. So I tend to use my Quidditch gloves because they give me a lot more grip on this kind of surface. Unfortunately, I don't have my gloves right now, so I'm just going to have to be very careful when I do push-ups. But always try to make sure you're on a surface where you don't slip. Okay, so when you're doing a push-up, what you want to make sure is that your legs are stretched out so that you're on your tiptoes. You want to make sure that your back is straight like this and your arms are about this far apart, and then you lower your body towards the ground using your arms. The only thing that moves here is your arms, and then you push yourself back up. 1, 2, 14, 15, okay, so that's the exercise that I tend to do. My legs are very tired. I'm dripping with sweat, you can see it shining off of me. It's going on my mouth. I do my sit-ups. I've got a nice little warm fuzzy feeling in my abdomen. My arms are aching. They feel quite heavy to move. Will be gone by tomorrow. When you very first start doing this, you might find that in the morning your muscles are very achy and you can't do exercise. That's completely fine. I do these exercises 4 times a week, on and off, on and off, on and off, on. When I very first started, I'd do one and then I'd have to wait 2 days, and I'd do another exercise thing, then I'd have to wait 3 days. But after a few weeks I was able to do it on and off, on and off, on and off, on. You have to remember that you have to start low as well. When I did my exercise routine, I started at level 4. Remember there's 16 levels, I'm on level 8 now. I was on level 4. I started trying to keep it above 80, and then I went up to 95. Then I decided this is getting a bit too easy, so I went up to 90, and then for 1 minute, after 4 minutes, take it up to 110. And then I increased the level on that to make sure that my legs were moving more of a weight and giving more workout. So I moved from 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8. And that's something that you just kind of have to gauge for yourself. You have to make sure that you're challenging yourself and that you're challenging your body and pushing it to its limits and pushing it a tiny bit further than those limits. Not too much that you injure yourself. Do not push yourself too much that you injure yourself. Push yourself until you ache and you can really sit down and feel like you've done good work. If you can sit down and feel proud of yourself for the amount of work that you've done, then you've probably done enough. That's the basic rule that I have. That's the premise that I work by. So yeah, that's basically it. I think it's time for lunch now. Yeah, so that's it.
They're like huge and massive.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, it's awful. Pregnant children.
Just made you some lunch. Here, I've made you some nice cheese and ham. I've made you some egg and cress, and there's a selection of chicken. Here, we've got some lovely jammy donuts, yummy chocolate eclairs. And then here, if you're still hungry after all that, you've got some lovely Kit Kats, lovely Freddos, and some pepperonis. And then for you, Robert, I've just done you your grapes and a bit of water.
Thanks, Anne.
Very nice. Very beautiful. Cheers, Robert.
That's alright. Okay guys, so we've just had lunch, we finished the exercise and stuff like that. Just remember that if you're going to do exercise and you're overweight like me, you have to tailor it to your needs. You have to make sure that you're getting the most out of the exercise. Don't do too little, don't do too much, you know, be safe, but really try and push yourself. I'm going to try and get another episode of Fat2Fit out, probably in about 2 weeks. I'm really going to try and push it out because I know how much people appreciate it. So yeah, tune in next time.